Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Grades for the Cowboys in Week 2 shellacking by Saints. If the Cowboys were feeling a little cocky following their big win over the Browns a week ago, they've certainly come back down to earth after a blowout loss at home to the Saints. It was a complete reversal of last week's performance, as the offense played well but the defense looked lost. Let's get into some grades for all the different units in this one. Dak Prescott threw 2 picks in this game, but it was definitely a better performance than last week for the quarterback, despite facing another great defense. On the day, he completed 69.2% of his passes for 293 yards with a touchdown and the 2 aforementioned interceptions. Of course, one of those came as a result of his intended receiver falling down, while the other came late in the fourth quarter when the game was pretty much already over and Prescott was simply trying to create something out of nothing. For the most part, though, Prescott looked more like himself than he did in Week 1, though it was still not the type of performance we're used to seeing from him. The running backs didn't get much of an opportunity in this game, since the Cowboys got down by so much so quickly, but they looked better than they did a week ago. Rico Dowdle, in particular, had a better game with 30 rushing yards on just 7 carries. Ezekiel Elliott only put up 16 yards on 6 carries, but most of his attempts came in short yardage scenarios. Interestingly, Deuce Vaughn saw a lot of snaps in this one, though he ultimately only carried the ball 4 times for 11 yards. It seemed as if the Cowboys wanted a 3-headed running attack in this game, but they ultimately had to abandon it because of the score. It'll be interesting to monitor this group and how the rotation evolves going forward. With Jake Ferguson out, Luke Schoonmaker was pushed into T1 status for this game. All things considered, he did well. Schoonmaker caught 6 passes for 43 yards, though it was hard to wonder how much better things would have gone with Ferguson in there. Elsewhere, CeeDee Lamb had a good game and Jalen Tolbert came up with several big catches on the day. The thing that ultimately kept this group from earning a higher grade was a general inability to get open. The Saints started double-teaming Lamb early, but there were plenty of contested catches everywhere else. Also, Jalen Brooks causing an interception and later dropped a pass that didn't help the position group's grade either. Cowboys news: Mike Zimmer takes responsibility for defensive collapse. Mike Zimmer explains about what happened on Sunday. Zimmer disputes Micah Parsons' assessment that it was an effort issue, though. "I don't know that's the case," he said. "I think we got lined up fine. We were trying to move the front some and they caught us a couple times, and when they were moving guys, so I've just got to do a better job." I said, "I've watched you guys for over 3 months now. Right? I've never seen us at one practice like that. I've never seen us give up plays in a practice like that. I mean, these guys, typically, they are on point and do everything the right way. They play very, very hard. They like to compete. Again. I didn't allow them to use our strength, which is being able to get him into some third down situations and passing situations. So I've got to do a better job." It was really hard to evaluate the Cowboys' offense on Sunday, but they had some positives and negatives while playing from behind all day. Studs: first half passing offense. The Cowboys' offense tried to keep the game competitive early, even with the Saints scoring 21 points on their first 12 plays. Dak Prescott was 17-23 for 184 yards with a touchdown and an interception, scoring on 5 of their first 6 drives. The interception was courtesy of a slipping receiver. Dallas scored 16 points in the first 2 quarters, putting them on pace for 32 points overall. That would be enough to win most games, but it would have still lost to the Saints' first half scoring. The offense was competitive early, but the defense could never get a stop to give them a chance at a comeback. Duds: red zone offense. If Dallas scored touchdowns on every drive they were held to a field goal, they'd still have lost by 2 scores. The offense wasn't an issue in this game because the defense was so poor that the good early offense became meaningless. On a macro level, looking ahead, the Dallas offense has to score more touchdowns. Going 0-3 in the red zone will cost them every time, but hopefully, as the rookie offensive linemen and young weapons develop, the team will get better. A miscommunication cost Dallas 4 points early when Prescott missed a wide-open CeeDee Lamb in the end zone for a 29-yard score. Dallas would end up in the red zone a play later, but the drive stalled, leading to a field goal. A pass to Ezekiel Elliott came up short, putting Dallas behind the chains, and then the Saints caused a strip sack to stop another red zone drive. Getting better in this area could be a key to more competitive games. Cowboys' Jerry Jones facing mounting pressure to take action on Mike McCarthy. Back in January, in the wake of the Cowboys' embarrassing 48-32 loss to the Packers to open the NFL playoffs, on their home field, there appeared to be little chance that coach Mike McCarthy would survive that fiasco. It was not even in the wake of that game, actually. Even by halftime, there was chatter that the game represented a death march for McCarthy's Cowboys career. The reasoning was simple. McCarthy has a team good enough to rack up a 12-5 record in each of the last 3 seasons. Yet he also coached the team to a 1-3 record in the postseason, saddling this group with a reputation for softness when the going gets tough. McCarthy survived, though, as Jerry Jones said he valued the continuity that the coach brings over an abrupt change, even with the playoff flops. Now, though, with the Cowboys reeling after their defense, under new coordinator Mike Zimmer, was throttled in a 44-19 loss to the Saints, the score was not really even that close. Fans and observers around the Cowboys have begun to call for owner Jones to reconsider his stance on McCarthy and fire him before things unravel even more in Dallas. Now, it's hardly a new thing for fans to call for the firing of a coach after a loss. But with McCarthy, the questions are seeping in more and more among NFL media, and appeared to even be weighing on Jones when he was shown in the owner's box during Sunday's game. As Taylor Mathis, a respected analyst for DraftKings, wrote on Twitter/X, "Today is day one of my campaign to fire Mike McCarthy. Retweet if you second this motion." One source of frustration is the way the Cowboys, who yielded 243 yards on the ground to the Saints in Week 2, generally fail when they go up against a coach who has worked with 49ers offensive guru Kyle Shanahan. The Saints' Clint Kubiak is the latest example. John Williams, who writes for USA Today's Sooners Wire, shared on Twitter/X, "When the hashtag Dallas Cowboys fire Mike McCarthy, they better hire someone out of the Shanahan tree." Former coach Rex Ryan, speaking on ESPN's Get Up program on Monday morning, could not believe the Cowboys made no adjustments during the game. "Maybe it's me," Ryan said. "But is it okay to sit back and take an A** whipping like they did? Shouldn't they bring a safety up off the edge, something to stop the run, something to disrupt the running game? I don't know, why just take a butt kicking? Wouldn't you have that in your bag of tricks?" Jones did weigh firing McCarthy, of course, but in bringing him back, he left McCarthy without a contract extension, essentially with him coaching on a 1-year deal. That's a risky proposition to put a veteran coach into. It's very easy for players to tune in a coach they know is going to be fired in a few months anyway. Assuming the Cowboys are not going to grant McCarthy a surprise in-season extension, especially not at this point, firing him in order to jolt this roster into playing better might make the most sense in the end. But on Sunday, at least, Jones did not appear to be in a hurry to pull the plug on McCarthy. "This is early," he said, via Todd Archer of ESPN. "This is very, very early. And we certainly didn't see it coming. Obviously we've got a lot of room for improvement here. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Mike McCarthy? Leave your opinion in the comments.